When you get up each day, what drives you? What makes the seemingly mundane become new and exciting each day? Whether it's at work or even just around the house, there are things that need to be accomplished. Tasks such as filing a report or cleaning your room can be boring. What if that were all to change? Proper motivation can be the simplest of tasks, transforming from dreary to driving. We would like to discuss types of motivation using goals properly and also financial rewards as motivation.
My definition of motivation is the intrinsic or extrinsic incentives for someone to complete an objective for themselves or for a company.
My definition of motivation would be anything that, creates movement. Motivation is something that charges people up and gets them to move in the direction that they need to be moving, creates forward momentum.
To start, let's discuss the various types of motivation. Employees that enjoy doing their job every day are those that are intrinsically motivated. Video game designers are one such profession this applies to. Artists and musicians also find intrinsic motivation from their work. Motivation by means of financial or other rewards is extrinsic motivation. For example, sales personnel that make commissions off of sales or bonuses distributed when a company's profits are up are examples of extrinsic motivation. Pro-social motivation goes hand in hand with intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, but is more to the benefit of others than oneself. For example, cancer researchers could be such professions that benefit from pro-social motivation.
Personally, the thing that motivates me most is probably my ability to apply creativity to the work that I'm doing.
Something that motivates me personally is to succeed, not only personally but professionally. When I do something, I want to make sure that I do it and people can look back on it later and say, wow, they did a really good job with that.
I've had some really good managers and some really bad managers. And I think the management style that's best motivator for me is if I'm given the autonomy to make decisions for myself or the autonomy to complete a task the way I see best fit. So I think something that is the opposite of motivation for me would be micromanaging or someone who's trying to be too involved. If I'm just trusted to sort of do the work the best way I see fit and given free rein to do it, I think that that's when I do my best work, and that's what motivates me to give my best in a project.
As a manager, one of the ways that I motivate my employees is by action. If I expect my employees to move and have action, then my motto is, I'll never ask you to do something I won't do, and I'll never ask you to do as much as I will do. So I tend to motivate by, leading the charge. To me, that's what helps motivate is leadership.
Now that we've discussed the various types of motivation, let's move on to discuss how to set goals that are motivating. Here are a few goal-setting guidelines. Goals should be difficult and detailed. Difficult goals are often the most motivational. Sales goals that are high but attainable or tight project deadlines are good examples of possibly difficult but highly motivating and rewarding goals. Making detail-specific goals is also important. Give yourself a time frame that is both difficult but realistic, that can also be broken down into smaller time frame goals. Set goals where success can be measured. Seeing smaller progress toward a larger goal makes it easier to see how much you've accomplished and how much further you have to go to reach your larger goal.
Well, I'm a terrible procrastinator, so deadlines don't necessarily help me accomplish the goal that I want. Honestly, it's working with the people. If I can work with the right people, I'm usually more incented to work a lot harder or to spend more time on it. If I'm working with the wrong people, it pushes me away and I am reluctant to do it, and I probably don't put my best foot forward.
Well, for projects and deadlines, basically, if I set the deadline, that in itself motivates me. As a pet peeve, I hate being late. If you're not 15 minutes early, then you're already late. So that kind of motivates me. I mean, my goal with the deadline is to not only have it done by that deadline, but have it early. That's always my goal with the deadline. Because somebody said to me once, you know, you can always deliver it early and people will be happy. But if you don't give yourself enough time and you deliver it late, they're always going to be angry.
My goals are primarily driven by the needs of the organization. So unfortunately, I don't often get to set which goal comes first. But if two things are equally weighted and neither have priority over the other, I would usually choose the one that I think I could get done the quickest.
The way that I set the goals, I guess, and prioritize is it really depends on what my long-term goal is. You know, I mean, I set a long-term goal and then I look at each of these different projects and say, well, which of these is going to help me get closer to the long-term goal that I see? If that's, let's say, for example, more sales, what's going to get me more sales? If that's going to be, you know, spending more time creating an advertising brochure, or, you know, maybe doing a free session for a client, then, you know, I will prioritize by which one I see getting me there quicker. And in that case, it would be the brochure. That way I could get more.
I generally have an idea of an overall concept that I want to produce. However, I tend to do things more iteratively. So I'll start at the beginning and I'll work towards something, and then as it progresses, I'll sort of adapt it to meet that larger goal. And then if I need to, I can go back and fill in the details so that the end project represents the overall concept I had in mind. But I tend to work iteratively toward that goal.
No, I definitely set the overall large goal and then set the small goals in between it, because I kind of look at it like it's a roadmap. So if I don't know where I'm going, then there's no point in planning on where I'm going to get gas along the way.
I'm a real big proponent of having fun in the workplace. I think having fun and being creative and energetic is really important to workplace productivity, although some people might not think that that's the case. So off-sites, working sessions, brainstorming sessions, ideation sessions, that type of thing, where you get out of your comfort zone and out of the daily routine, tends to be pretty effective for people in my organization.
Usually a large stick. You know, it kind of goes back to how I motivate, you know, other people that work for me, and when I manage. Typically, to motivate other people, you know, I find that if they have a passion, they see your passion, then that's contagious.
Performance-based awards and company-wide recognitions or Employee of the Month awards are examples of money motivators, which are often the most common type of motivator. These goals are based on performance and use rewards and recognition. Salaries or bonuses or commission-based sales are also different types of financial motivators. Motivation that involves financial gain needs to be at a level that does not promote unethical behavior. Companies like Enron are also a good example of ways not to use financial motivation.
The monetary incentives that I received at work were not generally the core motivator for me. They tended to be just a nice little bonus at the end, or an unexpected surprise. So I don't say that I set out for, I don't try and accomplish my goals because I hope to get more money as an incentive. I think that they're just nice little tokens of recognition. There's a really interesting study that came out a few years ago that found that the correlation between happiness and money only goes up to about $75,000. After that, happiness doesn't seem to be correlated with money at all. Personally, I would rather be working on something that I care about, have a purpose, do something meaningful, make a difference, change an organization for little to no money, as opposed to doing something begrudgingly or work on something that I really don't care about or that doesn't interest me and get paid a lot of money for it?
I am, but only to a certain point. You know, I'm not the type of pushy salesperson. Like, let's say, for example, a client came to me and said, hey, I'll tell you what, I need this video done in 2 weeks, or I need this photo session done in 2 weeks. But I already had clients in front of him, and he said, well, because you have clients in front of me and this is a rush job, if you can get this done, I'll give you an extra $500 for the job. That would motivate me, but only if it wasn't going to cause other work to suffer. You know, I mean, I think you have to just have a balance. I think that's the key to everything, just having a good balance.
Our company is relying on 3 forms of motivation: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy is giving employees the tools that they need to do their job and sort of leaving them alone to do it however they best see fit. Mastery is encouraging them to become the master of the subject or the topic that they're working on, so that they feel like they know what they're producing and that they feel like they can speak intelligently about it. And purpose is giving them a higher purpose, giving them something to work toward, to feel like they're making a difference or changing the organization for the better.
The only way to set goals for them is you have to kind of set a sub-goal to yourself. Sales for you means more business, and then you kind of have to get them to see your vision and believe in that more sales for you doesn't just line your pocket. You know, it motivates them because more sales for you means that that's more hours for them, maybe that's nicer gear for them, or maybe that's, you know, potential for management for them.
To summarize, using a mix of motivations based on the type of motivation, setting specific goals, and giving rewards of various kinds will greatly increase your odds of success. The various types of intrinsic, extrinsic, and pro-social motivations, and how they apply to different jobs and employees, will help identify how to motivate yourself or another employee. The benefits of financial motivation, if appropriate, can also be powerful motivators. The ways in which management sets goals for each group or individual will allow managers to draw more from their employees. The benefits of financial motivation, if appropriate, can also be powerful motivators. Again, when you get up each day, remember to think about what motivates you to keep you going and doing what is required to be successful.